What if I told you that sometimes the path to something really profound isn't about finding peace exactly, but maybe about embracing a kind of sword of truth? And what if, way back in ancient times, the more people were oppressed, the more they actually multiplied? Today, we're doing a deep dive into a really powerful stack of sources, ancient scriptures, modern reflections exploring these themes, oppression, radical allegiance, and the surprising rewards found in standing firm. It's quite a journey we're embarking on.
It really is. And these texts, passages from Exodus, Psalms, the Gospel of Matthew, plus those contemporary takes, they give us such a profound look at what it means to follow a challenging path and finding strength when things get tough, often by making us rethink what we even mean by peace or life. We're hoping to pull out some insights that really challenge conventional wisdom.
Okay, let's unpack this. We start in Exodus, right? A new king in Egypt, one who knew nothing of Joseph. And he looks at the children of Israel, sees them getting numerous and powerful, more so than we ourselves. So what was his fear, really, and how did he decide to deal shrewdly with them?
Well, the fear was pretty straightforward. He worried that the Israelites might join Egypt's enemies in a war and then, leave our country, take their strength elsewhere. So the shrewd plan, it was oppression, pure and simple, setting taskmasters over them, forced labor, making them build these huge supply cities of Pithom and Ramses, basically break their backs and control their population growth.
But here's where it gets really fascinating. Despite the forced labor, the cruel slavery, as the source calls it, it says, yet the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied and spread. The Egyptians actually started to dread them, which, of course, just made things worse. Life became bitter for them with hard work and mortar and brick and all kinds of field work. It just escalated.
It absolutely escalated, and that paradox, oppression leading to growth, is key. But it reached a truly horrifying point. Pharaoh's final decree was, it was an attempt at genocide. Throw into the river every boy that is born to the Hebrews, but you may let all the girls live. Which just begs the question, how does a people even survive that? Such a systemic, brutal attempt to wipe them out. Where do you find the strength?
Yeah, facing that kind of power, that kind of decree, infanticide, how do you even find hope? Our sources shift here, moving to this powerful plea, this kind of raw cry from the Psalms. It asks, had not the Lord been with us when men rose up against us, then would they have swallowed us alive? When their fury was inflamed against us, you can feel the desperation.
Oh, absolutely. The imagery there is incredibly vivid. It speaks of being completely overwhelmed, like drowning. Then would the waters have overwhelmed us? The torrent would have swept over us. Over us then would have swept the raging waters. It's that feeling of being totally helpless, right on the edge of destruction.
But then the mood just flips. The psalm shifts completely. It declares, "Blessed be the Lord who did not leave us a prey to their teeth." And the image of rescue is so striking. We were rescued like a bird from the fowler's snare. Broken was the snare, and we were freed, like escaping an impossible trap.
Exactly. And that sense of deliverance points to the core message, doesn't it? Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. It's this fundamental declaration of reliance, finding strength not in yourself, but in something much bigger, especially when the odds seem completely stacked against you.
So, okay, we've seen this extreme oppression, this miraculous deliverance. Now let's pivot to that statement from Jesus in Matthew. It can sound, pretty jarring at first. Do not think that I have come to bring peace upon the earth. I have come to bring not peace, but the sword. What's going on there?
Right, it seems contradictory, doesn't it? Especially given the association with peace. But the sword here isn't about literal violence. It's more about the division that inevitably arises when you choose a radical allegiance, a truth that demands everything. He explains it right after. For I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, even dividing households. One's enemies will be those of his household. It raises this really tough question. What kind of conviction, what kind of truth could possibly lead to that level of separation? Within a family, even.
That leads straight into this incredibly demanding call. Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Same for son or daughter. And then the ultimate commitment. Whoever does not take up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. Wow. That's absolute.
It is. There's no room for compromise there. And it builds towards this central paradox. Whoever finds his life will lose it. And whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. I mean, that completely flips our usual understanding of success, of self-preservation, right? It suggests true life, real meaning, might actually come through surrender, through letting go of what we think is important.
So if this path can cause such deep division, if it demands this radical cross-bearing allegiance, Why? What's the motivation? Well, the sources offer this powerful promise: blessed are they who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, which seems to connect back to that idea of fearlessness we saw in the Psalms. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? There's a connection there.
Absolutely. And that modern reflection, the call to courageous discipleship, it really synthesizes these ideas well. It states clearly that following him may cause division even within our closest relationships.
Yeah.
It doesn't shy away from that. It clarifies that being a disciple means placing him first, above all else, and carrying our own cross with faith. It's active, not passive. It demands real internal strength.
Right. The sources admit, the path may be difficult, but the promise is that it leads to true life and peace in God's will, which sounds less like guaranteed comfort and more like an inner transformation, a different kind of peace.
Exactly. It's not about external ease. And what's fascinating is the focus on the qualities required. Serving Christ wholeheartedly requires courage, sacrifice, and unwavering trust. It's a path that demands deep inner conviction, integrity, really. Not about looking good or feeling comfortable. It's about standing firm inside.
Okay, so we've traced this demanding path from oppression and deliverance to this call for radical allegiance, finding strength in adversity. How does this then translate into how we treat others? What are the implications?
Well, the texts lay out this really interesting system of, you could call it reciprocal reward. It's about recognizing and supporting those on this path. Whoever receives you receives me, and whoever receives me receives the one who sent me. It creates this chain of connection, and it extends. Whoever receives a prophet because he is a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. Same for receiving a righteous person. Welcoming them is like welcoming the truth they represent.
And then there's that final detail, which seems so small but holds such weight. And whoever gives only a cup of cold water to one of these little ones to drink because he is a disciple, amen, I say to you, he will surely not lose his reward. Just a cup of water.
Right. It's incredibly powerful. It connects that huge, demanding narrative of radical discipleship, of ultimate allegiance, down to the simplest act of kindness. Recognizing someone as a fellow traveler on that path, offering basic support. It shows that service, that reward, isn't just about grand gestures. It can be found in the most humble offering, given with the right intention. It broadens the whole scope.
So, today, we've really journeyed through some challenging texts that push back against our easy ideas about peace, about loyalty, about where strength truly comes from. From the Israelites literally multiplying under brutal oppression to Jesus' call to embrace a sword of truth. We've seen themes of courage, sacrifice, and the kind of rewards that come from unwavering conviction.
Yeah, this deep dive into ancient wisdom really forces us to consider the cost of holding firm to what you believe and what real peace might actually look like. It's a good reminder, I think, that sometimes transformation means questioning our own assumptions, prioritizing what truly matters, even if it shakes things up.
So to leave you with something to think about, building on all this, consider this. In your own life right now, what's one truth or principle you might be called to stand for, even if it feels costly, even if it might create some unexpected waves or divisions, something to mull over?